Yeah.
Do you ever look at someone and wonder what is going on inside their head?
Assault rifles, SMGs, shotguns, sniper rifles, anti-material rifles, machine guns, handguns, RPGs, whatever the hell this thing is. Insurgency Sandstorm's armory of weapons is growing a little with each update they bring. Some are bad, and some can straight up send a man to the Shadow Realm.
Okay.
That's why in this series, we're going to take a look at how these weapons perform and help you decide what weapon is right for you. This series isn't just limited to Insurgency Sandstorm though. There are thousands of weapons at our disposal over an ever-growing genre of shooters. So sit back, relax, and let's talk about some of our favourite weapons in our most loved video games. What was your first introduction to the Desert Eagle? Was it in old 80s movies, or games like Counter-Strike or Call of Duty? My first time seeing a Desert Eagle was in a game called Far Cry Instincts, and ever since then I've been obsessed with having the Desert Eagle in every video game I've ever played after that. But do I want it in Sandstorm? We'll get to that soon. The Deagle needs little to no introduction, so I'm going to spare you a history lesson and a long boring talk about the gun's engineering, as impressive as it is. Let's just get right into this video. Just like weapons such as the MP5, the design of the Deagle is iconic, recognizable simply just from its silhouette.
The Desert Eagle started out as a 357 only in the Mark I configuration. But the one thing on the Desert Eagle from day one till now that has never changed is the frame. The frame today is exactly the same as it was on the very first Desert Eagle made.
One look at this hand cannon just screams power. And that's exactly what this thing is, a goddamn cannon that fits in your hand. I'm not gonna lie though, when I first fired the Deagle on CTE a few weeks ago, I was pretty disappointed with its sound. It doesn't sound terrible by any means, and maybe I just had unrealistic expectations going into it, because after watching a few videos recently of how Desert Eagles sound in real life, I think Sandstorm actually has a pretty accurate depiction of a Desert Eagle. Its recoil and reload animations look fantastic as always, and its audio design has a nice solid thud to it. Nothing too dramatic, but just enough to help you feel its power. So let's take a look at how the Deagle performs in terms of like penetration power and the one-shot kill range and limb tests. When testing against wood, like doors and stuff, it takes roughly one bullet from about 10 meters away to kill the target. Concrete varied because there's so many different like thicknesses, I guess, but it was roughly around 8 to 11 shots. And there aren't too many variations of metal objects in Sandstorm, so I just tested cars and these sheet metal fences you see everywhere. They were about 1 to 2 shots to kill. The Deagle takes 3 shots to the foot, 2 shots to the leg, 2 shots to the hand, and it's surprisingly a 1-shot kill to the arm. But this is where it gets insane, its 1-shot kill range. What distance do you think the Deagle could 1-shot you at? 20 meters? 30 meters? 40 meters? 50 meters?
It's false. No way. Not this time.
This thick boy can one-shot an unarmored target to the chest from up to 63 meters away. That is insane. Thank God you can't put a scope on this thing, and luckily you can't spam fire it with high accuracy, so that's a good trade-off. The Deagle is obviously a monster of a weapon, so in order to help balance that, it needs to be expensive. $5 for a sidearm is a hefty price to pay, but justified. In game modes like Domination, I'd recommend just running around with this thing fully kitted out, all the bells and whistles, but in push and frontline you can't be so generous. I mean, you can of course, but you'll be having a budget primary, if any, and little utility. I haven't played too much with the Deagle, but if you're using it, I think it pairs well with a quick draw holster. Normally I wouldn't even run a secondary, but the Deagle can definitely do some work if you need a switch to it in an emergency. Accompany that with a quick draw grip on your primary and you're golden. I honestly can't give you a proper recommendation on how to use the Deagle yet. It's just a fun gun that isn't super practical and is easily outclassed by a lot of other guns. If you're an accurate shooter, however, you will absolutely obliterate people with this thing. So it's going to be interesting to see if this breaks the game a little bit or not. I don't think it will, but I'd still like to see the Deagle and Revolver limited to the Advisor class or something. I don't know. It just seems weird to me that anyone can run around with this one-shot pocket hand cannon. Which brings me to this question. Do you think the Deagle belongs in Sandstorm? I'm personally a little undecided. For me, it's not game breaking in terms of immersion or anything. Immersion isn't something I play Sandstorm for anyway, but in saying that, I want them to adhere to Sandstorm's aesthetic as much as possible. I don't want goofy skins or super goofy guns. That's where my limit would be. If I start to see dumb skins and everyone running around with silly guns that are like modern prototypes that aren't even released or something, then that's where Sandstorm will start to become a problem for me. But you can never keep everyone happy anyway. I just hope that NWI don't lose sight of what Insurgency is. It's our little unique game and I want it to stay that way. So, should you use the Deagle?
Well, yes, but actually no.